So you were just mentioning before we started the second part of the podcast, uh, you graduated from San Isidro High School,
hmm
and you were working as Little Caesars, right? But then after graduating high school, you went on to different things.
Construction.
Hmm.
So yeah, after high school, and during high school, I would work construction with my cousin, installing windows and doors. Um, uh, and after high school, I got invited to go work with my cousin's brother, for his construction company. So I took the offer and I went to work. So his it was a home office. So it was based out of Temecula. He was the subcontractor for Lowe's and Home Depot. So if a customer would go to Lowe's and Home Depot and they say, "Hey, I want new windows, new doors, a closet door, whatever," Home Depot or Lowe's would send out their contractors, which was us.
Hmm.
We would go measure your doors, your windows, and then you would go back to Home Depot, buy whatever you had to buy, and then they would send us to install. Right. So I was working there since I was 17, and I think within the first year I started making pretty good money, like $700 a week.
Hmm.
During that time, I mean, $700 a week for a 17-year-old was pretty good money. I mean,
Oh yeah,
we could all agree.
right.
So the first thing I did, right, not knowing financial literacy or anything, I went to the dealer and I got a brand new Honda Civic,
Right.
right? This poor kid from San Isidro driving a stick shift Honda Civic, brand new.
At least it wasn't a Mercedes.
Yeah, this was a Mercedes. That could have been worse. Why Honda? I don't even remember. But anyway, so I went. I got a brand new car. Money was good. So after high school, I said, okay, I'm gonna take a year off school, or that break, and then I'll go back to school. So when you graduate high school, you have preferences on classes. So you go to your college, community college, whatever. As a senior, you have preferences, and that senior in college also has preferences. Everybody else has to like crash courses or try to get whatever courses,
Hmm.
right? So after that year, I tried to go to college, and I don't have preference, so I ended up with like three classes that kind of work with my work schedule. So I think it was like English, math, and something else.
Some GE stuff.
Yeah, your baseline, community college, classes. I wanted to be a doctor. That was my dream. Why? I think it was just because of that uncle that we spoke about, Cesar Romero. Um, and I think it's something that my mom always, your tío Cesar, and I guess
And you saw they were making money too.
I mean, yeah, like
Yeah.
every time you have your first generation, family in the U.S., lawyer,
Yeah.
doctor, right? That's kind of like success, right? So yeah, in my head, I was like, hey, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor, and I'm gonna become a doctor. Um, and like I said, I didn't have a great, run at high school, but I thought I didn't think about that. I
Yeah.
was like, all right, I'll just go to school and become a doctor.
We'll start from
What's
zero.
the big deal, right? So I try to go to school. I only get three classes, and at the same time, I had to pay this stupid car loan. It was like $400 a month. So I have to work and go to school, and I'm not going anywhere with three classes. That's like not even half time
Hmm.
or part time. And then it was during 2008, so the economy had just crashed. 2008 economy. There's no work out there. I was in the construction business. There was no work out there. I started working for the school district as a special ed assistant, which is this is where it comes where I told you I had experience working with special ed kids.
Hmm.
So I was working with the San Diego Unified School District as a special ed assistant. It was at the time it was like $14 an hour, which is more than
Oh yeah.
minimum wage.
Back then, minimum wage was
Probably
eight,
7 by then,
7, 8.
8
Yeah.
if you got lucky. So it was almost double.
Yeah.
So I was like, it was a great job, but obviously not enough to raise a family, right? So I was still gonna try to become a doctor, but now I had this stupid car loan, and then not the ability to go full time to college because I had to pay a car loan. So at the time, we were still kind of at war. We had soldiers in Afghanistan, Iraq, and I don't know what else we had going on in the Middle East, and a guy from church. All this time, all my childhood, we went to church. So I never really stopped going to
With
church
your mom and your
with my
brother and
mom,
your
my
sister.
dad, everybody.
Okay.
Everybody. Even when they kind of split up, I was still trying to go to church and stuff. Because during that time, I had a girlfriend. I started going with my girlfriend, which is my wife now, since I was I want to say like 15 and a half, 16 years old. So I was still going to church during that time. And a guy from church, he was in the National Guard. He used to be in the Navy full time. And then after the Navy, he went into the Army, the California Army National Guard. So, I was telling him my struggles. Yeah, I can't go to school and I gotta pay a stupid car loan and this and that. And he tells me, hey, like, there's a signing bonus for $20,000. He said, I'll be honest with you, man. They're gonna give me a cut, but they'll give you $20,000 and they'll pay for your school. And guess what? If you go to school, they'll pay you to go to school. I was like, what? Wait, $20,000? They'll pay me They'll pay my school and they'll pay me to go to school. Like, bro, sign me up. I don't care where I work. Like, let's go. I was like, this is my way out for this 20,000. I'll pay this stupid car loan. I'll go to school and I'm on my way to become a doctor. Right? I'm still very goal oriented.
Yeah.
So I sign up. I had no idea about the military, bro. I don't think I could tell you about the branches that we had because nobody in my family went to the military. I come from, Mexican background. My uncles, they, you know, lawyers, doctors, teacher. My dad's side, struggles.
Hmm.
No idea what's going on. But I ended up signing, to join the California Army National Guard. I get, you know, my bonus and I fly out to boot camp. So I fly out to boot camp, and while I'm at boot camp, I get my first call. This is like 3 weeks in. You go to boot camp. Back in the, I don't know how it's now, but I'm assuming it's the same. All you take is a backpack. Like they tell you, the recruiter tells you, don't even take underwear. Once you get there, they're gonna give you everything. You're just taking your backpack for that trip from the airport to the military base.
Hmm.
So I get to boot camp. They take all my stuff. They give me everything I need. They tell me the first thing they tell me, like, hey, you guys are going to war. It's not if, it's when you go to war. So I get there, I'm like, oh shit,
You're like, this is what I signed up
what
for.
I signed up for. And even though you're National Guard, like Army, you go with regular people. So you go with the regular, full enlisted Army people. It's
Hmm.
just after your school, they go to a camp, a base. They get sent to Hawaii, Texas, whatever their Army base is, and you come home and then you drill a weekend, once a month for a weekend, and then like 2 3 weeks in the summer. So anyway, so you go there, it's a real deal, right? And like 3 weeks in, that's when you get your first call. You have to buy like a card with minutes and stuff. Before cell phones,
Hmm.
were like rarely available. And so, anyways, I call home. Obviously, the first person I'm gonna call it was gonna be my girlfriend. It wasn't my mom, it wasn't my sister, my brother. It was my girlfriend, right? Because I'm in love, right? And I call her up, and then the first thing she tells me, you get like it's like a 3 minute call, right? You're not there, there's like a line, and there's people waiting for you. So I call her and I'll say, hey, what's going on? I got my first call. So hey, I got some news for you. You're gonna be a dad. And I'm homesick. 3 weeks
Yeah.
away from home. Never been away from
Where
San
were you
Diego.
at?
Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Okay.
So culture shock.
Hmm.
That's a different story, but culture shock. Never left San Diego. Never left my little South Bay town. I go into the military. Anyways, I call her up. She's like, "Hey, you're gonna be a dad." And I'm like, oh, I'm homesick, so I'm super happy. I'm stoked, right? And once I was there, I kind of started learning, like, hey, you know what? Like, cause I think I was making like $1,000 a month enlisted. But if you're married, you get paid like $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's just probably a lot more now. But back then, it's like, hey, you get married, you
I
get
think it
paid.
doubled now.
Yeah, probably because you get paid your basic household allowance, your BHA.
Hmm.
So, so anyway, so I was like, hey, you know what? Like, I was talking to people here and there, like we should probably get married. That way, when I go to my AIT school, which is like your trade in the military, I get paid another $3,000 a month. It's like three months worth of schooling. That's another, you know, extra $9,000 that we could make. So I talked to the chaplain and this and that. They give me support. So the day of graduation, my mom flies with my wife, with my girlfriend at the time, and I get a family day pass. So after boot camp, you get one day with the family where you could exit the base.
Hmm.
So I exit the base with my family and I hit the courthouse and I get married in South Carolina.
How old
And
are you at this time?
I am 19.
Okay.
I'm about 19 years old. Um, I might have been I might have been 20 years old
Your
already.
wife is around the same age?
She's 20. So
Yeah.
we're both 20 years old. Um, yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
Either 19 or 20. Well, we're super young. Oh, I'm gonna say 20 because we just hit our 17-year anniversary from when we got married. Um, so we get married. She goes home. She's about like 6 months pregnant. So she goes home. No, 3 months pregnant. My bad. 3 months pregnant. She was 7 months when I got back home. So she's about 3 months pregnant. She goes home. I go to my AIT school. I finish my schooling. I come back to work to home when she's 7 months. But during my AIT school, I meet a sergeant that was getting reclassified. So your classification is your job, right? So he had already a job and he wanted to get another job. So he was getting the job that I had signed up for, which was like radios and signals and repeaters and all
Mhm.
that crap. So when he was there, I was like, "Hey, Sergeant, like I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get home. I don't have a job. My wife is pregnant. The market crashed. There's no work in construction. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I hope this job in the military gives me a way to raise a family." And he's like, "Hey, you ever consider border patrol?" And I was like, "Huh?" So yeah, like border patrol. In my head, I was like, "La migra," like where I grew up.
Yeah, you know who Ward yeah.
Nueva. The right there, like the wall next to the apartments. It's the Chula Vista station. So I grew up, you know, driving, like next to border patrol, and as a Hispanic Mexican person, you always hear la
La Migra,
migra,
yeah.
right? So I was like, huh? It's like, yeah, man, like border. I just came off the border mission. It's just like the military. It's great opportunities, but even better than the military because they don't move you around. Like wherever you go, if you pick up that job, that's where you stay forever. It's not like the military where you might go to Hawaii 4 years, and then they change your orders and all that. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's like, yeah, and all you need is a high school degree. High school degree, a little bit of experience, and you qualify. So I remember going back to my bunk beds, and I grabbed the laptop from somebody, and but like again back then you didn't have everything available to you.
Mhm.
But one guy there in the where we used to sleep had a laptop,
Mhm.
and I asked for it, and I don't even know how I did it, but I assume I googled my way to it, and I ran into this website, and it kind of broke it down like, hey, this is how much an agent makes, and it kind of broke it down, right? And I was like, oh wow, it's a good opportunity. I was like, I don't have anything else to do, so might as well, join. So I joined while I was there. I come back home 2 weeks later. I take the test, I pass, and within 6 months I was off to the academy. I had just came back from boot camp and AIT, and then 6 months later, boom, I was on my way to the academy.
6 months is a pretty large gap, no? Like
So
from when you coming back home
yeah,
to actually going into the boot camp?
yeah, so the hiring, it usually takes like anywhere from 1 year to even two
Oh,
years
wow.
because they go through your background and a bunch of stuff. But during that time, there was like a hiring push. I
And
kind of
plus, you also had military
yeah.
background or
So
experience. Like,
six months later, I'm in the academy, and yeah, man, that was 2009. I joined the military in 2007. I kind of had to stay home a little bit. Then I went to boot camp, came in, and then boom, I'm off. I'm off to the next academy. Um, But back then, I was like, I just had nothing to do,
mhm.
nothing to, no ways to provide to my family.
You didn't want to. You didn't want to. I mean, you had a kid on the way, and you didn't want
Yeah.
to go back home with no income.
No, no, because remember at the time I wanted to be a doctor,
Yeah.
but when I went to boot camp, I found out I was having a baby, so it kind of changed my mindset. I guess I left as a teenager,
Hmm.
it, thinking not much. I had a girlfriend, that was it, and then I came back as an adult. I had to like grow up fast.
Yeah.
Like I came up as an adult, as a married man. I lived with my sister when I left to boot camp. When I came back, I my wife had already arranged that we were gonna live with her parents. I never touched my home again.
No.
No, it's kind of weird, man, because I left all my stuff there. And
Wow.
like 2 3 years later, my sister was like, "Hey, I boxed all your stuff. When can you pick it up?"
You're like my silver still
I
in.
was like, I don't know if it's gonna work. I might have to go back.
Yeah.
But no, not serious. But yeah, it was just weird, man. It's just now that I look back, it was kind of weird. Like
You grew up fast.
I just had to.
Yeah, you had to.
Like I had no choice. Like I was gonna come back to being a dad.
Yeah. Dang. So that's interesting. I mean, let's take a little bit back right now. Let's learn how you and your wife met,
Okay.
because that's a story that everyone as a child always asks their parents,
Uh huh.
"Mom, how did you and dad meet?" And obviously one's always going to have a different version from
Right.
the
Right.
other one.
Yeah.
Let's hear your version. How did you and your wife meet?
Yeah.
And share her name and everything.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you her version, and it's a little different from mine. But so I was 13. Um, so like I said, I always grew up in church, Christian Baptist,
Mhm,
Southern Baptist, and then I switched to Northern Baptist. And for the those Christians out there, they understand the difference between Southern and Northern.
mhm,
Uh, but I grew up in the Christian community, and I was going to this church in San Isidro, Primera Iglesia Bautista de San Isidro. I think they recently changed their name to PIPC, which
mhm.
is just the letters, a little more,
The abbreviation of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
a little more catchy, modern. But I grew up there, and the pastor that was there, Ricardo A. Cano, he's still around. Um, he had gone off for like a position in the whole like in their organization, like the Southern Baptist, whatever. He had gone off for a position, so he ended up leaving the church. I'm taking you like way back,
Mhm.
but to kind of let you know how I
Yeah.
ended up in how I met my wife. So when he left, just like any organization, there was a lot of disruption, and another guy wanted to become the pastor, and then you had this like kind of like this division and
Yeah.
this and that,
People
and
were voting, no, I want him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we were very into church. I had like the musical group. Like I used to lead the group.
Oh, you used to do like the choir like thing,
Yeah,
or?
yeah, yeah. The worship group.
Mhm.
I guess that's what we call it, worship group. And yeah, like I was the lead singer, lead guitarist. My mom was a singer. My sister was a singer. I had taught my brother how to play the bass. I had a drummer, and we had the whole, the worship group. And I guess we were in it, and I was a kid, but my parents might have gone into the politics of things, and to the point where we said, you know what, we're out of here, and we started traveling churches playing. And we used to be, and we used to call church like, hey, my family has a group, and we would love to come and just do a un canto especial, they would call it. So
Yeah.
during the church, all of a sudden they would call us up and we would sing a couple songs, kind of like artists.
Yeah, yeah.
So we would go around churches, but the whole point of going around, it was my parents were like, hey, like let me know if you guys like this church.
Yeah, let's find our church.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
find our
find a
spot.
church. We would use that as an excuse to kind of like go to different churches and
Mhm.
kind of like get to know them. So we end up in this church, Primera Iglesia Bautista La Mexicana. It's a church down in San Diego, in like the heart of like just north of National City.
And I have a question: were you guys
Uh huh.
only going to
Yes. Uh
baptism
huh.
or Baptist church?
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's a lot of different like Pentecostals and this
Yeah.
and that. Yeah. So we were just sticking to like Baptist church.
Okay.
That's kind of in tradition what we
Uh
what
huh.
we knew. Nothing against the other churches,
Right.
but that's just what we were kind of sticking to that. And even my mom grew up in churches and all that, so she still had like contacts and stuff like that. So,
So you guys ended
anyways,
up at the Mexicana.
yeah, and they had like the best freaking groups, in that time. Like Baptist churches are very like traditional. So like drums, stuff like that. They didn't come until like I want to say like 20 years ago. Like like drums were like, "Oh, that's too much noise. That's too much noise."
Those rock and roll
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey, calm down. Let's stick to the hymns and all the piano and all that. So anyway, so we go there, and the group was like crazy good, man. Like Mana style. Like I was like, man, this is some good stuff. And I'm 13 years old. So I'm a musician, and I'm looking at this group, which is like varsity, when it comes to like musical groups. So I fall in love with the church, and we go to a couple youth, reunions, and I tell my parents, this is it. I love this church. And they like, boom, right off the bat, I start playing at church. They pulled me up, they knew we were in the music business. So they pulled me up, and I started playing in the church, and we just that became our church.
And how far is this from San Isidro or
This is
your
a
house?
15-minute drive.
Okay,
15-minute drive, right there, just north of
you didn't have to
where
go
we
that
live.
far.
No, no, no. So I'm there since I was 13, and I'm this, this is where my wife's version comes in. She says I was this guy who thought he was all cool and cute and this and
Yeah,
that.
I'm up on the
Yeah,
stage. Yeah,
yeah, he's a cool kid. So my wife's like, yeah, I don't like that kid. So but so I was there since I was 13. So, after a couple years of me being there, getting to know the people, I started to kind of like this girl, which is my wife, Eunice Judith Beltran.
and she would just go to the Sundays to the
Her
services.
parents were she was born in that church,
Okay.
also in that specific church.
Hmm.
She was literally born there. Her parents were like her dad was like a deacon, like very into the church and the politics and all that stuff, but super nice guy. Probably the best guy I know, literally, in my life. Her dad. Um, but so she's there, and after a while, I started kind of like liking her and this and that. But I was a troublemaker, and I was kind of like, I had a girlfriend, and I was nothing to be proud of, but I was a knucklehead, and I had a girlfriend at school, and I had another girlfriend here, and just being a dumb little kid. I was
Yeah,
I was young, and I started talking to her, but I was like, nah, she's too good. She's too.
she's different.
Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. Even it's kind of dumb, but I guess I could say it now that I'm older. I'm still with her, but I always saw her, and I was like, nah, this is like wife material. And I know it sounds very dumb because at that time I was freaking 14, 15 years
But
old.
you knew it.
But I just knew it.
Yeah,
Maybe because I grew up kind of rough, South Bay and all that stuff. But I just knew, like, hey, she's wife material. I'm not gonna mess with her, because she's too good.
hmm,
But I was still talking to her, and I was calling her, and this and that, and then finally one day she told me, she's like, hey, like, what the hell do you want with me? Like, straight out,
yeah. You're
like,
like, oh, never. No one's ever asked me this before.
yeah. I was like, "Oh," and I remember telling, "Oh man, you're messing things up." She's like, "Nah, like, because she kind of she stood her position. She was like, hey, like, what do you want with me? Either you want to be my boyfriend, or you're not gonna be messing with me." She didn't say it like that, but yeah, that's how I took it. So I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, I have to I have to make up my mind. Either I go out with her, or she's probably gonna tell me like we're not talking to each
But
other.
you secretly or not secretly, but you liked her.
Oh,
You
I
just
I, I absolutely liked her. I just didn't want to break her heart, and I didn't want to go out with her because I was like, she's a good girl.
yeah.
And it was church and
You
this and
just knew
that.
she was better, better than you, or you felt like
Yeah,
she was better than
yeah,
you
yeah,
for
yeah.
you. Then yeah,
Yeah, like if I could have it my way, I could, put her away, and then like when I was done being a knucklehead, then I could, settle in, right?
yeah,
This is,
yeah. That's
stupid me,
yeah. That's how. Yeah.
thinking at 14 years old. So, anyways, so yeah, she calls me out, and then so I was like, all right, cool, and you know, that was that, and then like, probably like weeks later or something, I ended up asking her out to be my girlfriend. I remember I was, I remember I was literally outside her house. So she lives off of 41st Street in San Diego. So I'm outside her house, parked in my '94 Volkswagen Golf,
So your
black
first car.
black and color, first car. Cool car for a 17-year-old. So it was black Volkswagen Golf, and I'm there, and I'm in the driver's seat, she's in the passenger seat, and I'm freaking nervous. And I don't get nervous, 'cause I'm the
Hands
cool
are
kid.
sweating.
Oh, super sweaty, super nervous, and she knows I'm nervous too. And she's like, "What's going on?" And I just, I man up and I ask her out. Hey, you want to be my girlfriend?
She probably thought you were gonna break up with her,
Yeah. Well,
or
like I knew it was a
cut her off.
yes, but you
Yeah,
still get nervous.
yeah,
So yeah, I asked her out August 17th, 2004, which is like, I don't, we have other dates, and that's the one that I will never ever forget. So August 17th, 2004, I asked her out, and she says yes, and then we're boyfriend and girlfriend. And it's like I said, it's dumb at that age, but I really really felt it. Like, I knew I was gonna marry her. Like, I would see her, and I was like, this is the wife I want.
mm.
And she came from very good parents. When I say very good, I mean like good people, and they were Christian. They were like true Christians. Like, I grew up, eventually a dysfunctional family. I grew up through a couple of troubles here and there, but her family was legit. Never seen her dad mad. Never heard him cuss. Like just good people.
Hmm.
The way Christian people should be. So to me, it was like, man, this is kind of. I guess I was attracted to that.
Hmm.
And yeah, we started going out, and then like I said, next thing you know, I leave and I get her pregnant.
This is 15 years old ish
This is
when you asked
so
her out.
yeah, so I'm going so 2004. So yeah, like 15 years old, 16 years old. I was 15 and a half, and I turned 16 that December. So 16 years old, I'm going out with her, and then I leave to boot camp like 3 years later. So we were going out for three
Yeah,
years.
it was a high school sweetheart that
So
eventually,
yeah,
yeah.
super high school sweetheart. Which we didn't go to the same high school, but church, and we grew, little kids, and grew up together. But I always knew I wanted to marry her. It was just we were young.
Hmm.
We weren't planning to get married because we were young. We didn't really talk about it, well, we were in it forever. It was just that life kind of told us, okay, this is your chance to get married.
And she felt the same way, I'm assuming.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah,
she saw
yeah.
something in you that you probably didn't know about yourself as
Yeah,
well.
I was the kind of guy who I would get like super in love, when I was young. So when I was going out with her, like I was like in love. There
Hmm.
was no like I knew I wanted to marry her. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of stupid coming from a 16-year-old, but I just knew
Hmm.
like I want to marry her. So there was no talk about it. It was kind of like, oh, you're pregnant. Oh, cool. Hey, I'm graduating. Do you want to get married? Yes. All right, let's go.
There was no like you're pregnant. Like
No,
why didn't you?
no, no, no,
Yeah.
no. There was no like, oh man, now I have an obligation.
Hmm.
No, it was just like, oh, cool, you're
It was
married.
gonna happen.
Yeah, like, oh, great, now we have an excuse. And all right, cool. And shit, I'm over here. I don't have to, man up to your parents.
That makes life way easier.
It was, man, because poor her. She had to like tell her dad, her mom, and eventually her dad, like, hey, I'm pregnant. And I had to, and I was at boot camp, man. I was a hero, man. We were at war.
Yeah.
So I was like, they were praying for me at church, like, oh, make sure Andy makes it back, So I was like, I had made like a big no, in the church world,
Yeah.
got, had sex before marriage and got, my girlfriend pregnant. She was like the daughter of the deacon, but when I came over, everything, all the fire was done.
Yeah. You
So
you were the hero of the
I was a
story.
hero. Oh, Andy's back from boot camp and AIT, and he's
Yeah.
all clean cut, and
God listened to our
yeah,
prayers.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely got away with that, and then I don't even I don't remember. I don't even know if I had a. I don't remember. I probably did, but I don't even know if I had a conversation with my father-in-law or anything.
Or just you just kind of let it slide.
Yeah, man. I was kind of like,
You're like I don't want to talk to him
yeah,
about it.
man. I don't think we had a conversation, to the truth.
No.
It was kind of like, because they were so nice, man. It was like literally, I came back and the room was set up already. We were just. She was 7 months when I got back, so it was kind of like, it was like, baby's coming mode, right? Let's get everything ready for the
Hmm.
baby. Like,
Like there's no time to get mad at my
no,
son-in-law. There's no
no,
time to
and like
make sure that the baby's healthy.
yeah, and like I told you, like my father-in-law, like he's not the guy who would tell me something. Like, not that he probably didn't want to, it's just he's not that guy,
Hmm.
and he's very spiritual, very connected to God. So he, I don't know, man, I don't know. And I just got lucky, man, too, because like I said, they had literally 3 4 months to process this. So by the time I came back, like, they're probably not mad
Well, they
anymore.
probably also knew that you were the guy for their daughter. You probably also at leading up to everything that she got pregnant, you've
Yeah,
probably also proven yourself. You were with her for 4 to 5 years before she even got pregnant.
yeah,
You had committed your life or you had committed yourself to a better life
yeah,
of joining the National Guard, Army, and then going to boot camp, and then obviously I'm sure your wife was telling them, hey, he's coming back with the plan, with an intention, and
yeah,
taking care of us, and we're getting married, and
yeah.
you weren't letting them down either.
No, and like I said, like I joined, or I started the process for Border Patrol, like while I was away. So when I came back, like I also had a mission,
Mhm.
and like the background investigators were coming to the house and interviewing people from church and interviewing my parents and interviewing my parents-in-law. So there's a lot of action going on, like moving forward. So like you said, like I was kind of showing like I'm on the right path.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think I got away with it, man. It was now that I look back at it, I got lucky.
So in 2004 or 5, you had your first child. What year is it?
So 2018, that's when my daughter was born. December 18, 2018.
Hmm.
No, 2008. My bad.
2008.
I jumped way ahead of it. So yeah, December 18, 2008.
2008. And
Uh-huh.
that's your first child.
That's my first child. Trust me, I get in trouble with my kids because after my first child, I don't even know their year they were born. I,
That's like,
st-
yeah, that's my dad.
I stopped counting.
That's like my dad. My dad sometimes, and my dad will be like, "Hey, mijo,"
Oh
or
yeah,
like or he'll be like, "Hey, mija." I'm like, "Bro, it's only two of us. Why are you
yeah,
calling me mija?
yeah.
It's just me and my sister. You got
I
one
think
guy
it's
and
a
one girl."
Mexican thing.
It is,
Yeah, I
yeah. I
think.
think you just lose count after a
Yeah.
while. But so then December 18th, 2008 is your daughter's birthday.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What's her name or
Andrea.
Andrea?
Andrea Eunice Beltran.
And Eunice
So
is your
my wife's
wife's
name.
name.
My wife's first
Mm.
name. She goes by Judy. Her
Hmm.
middle name Judith. But yeah, Andrea Eunice Beltran. That's
Okay.
my daughter.
And so 2008, and then you join at that moment. You have already joined the border patrol.
Yeah. So she's born December, and I'm going through the process.
Hmm.
Takes about 6 months or so. And when I leave to the academy in August, she was 8 months.
Mm.
8 months old.
So were you there when she had the baby?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
there.
you
Yeah, I
were
got
there.
lucky. So
Oh,
I
you
got
got lucky.
back. She was 7 months, and then I was there for the birth, December, months later, and then she's a little baby. We're going through the whole process, and then I leave to the academy when she's about 8 months.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's a good time. Yeah,
bless, man. I got lucky.
yeah.
Yeah.
God's time.
Yep.
And so then you start into your new life
Uh
and your
huh.
career. How did it feel going into that career position?
I'm not gonna lie, man. It was awesome.
Yeah,
It was awesome. At first, I was, it was kind of weird, right? Coming like from a Mexican background and kind of like,
living in that
yeah,
area and
yeah.
seeing
But
that.
I was very. It was in '09 when I joined. I joined the military in '07, so I had those like 2 years of like kind of like understanding what was going out there and the threats and this and that. And when I went through military and the border patrol, it was very like mission oriented. Like, hey, terrorist, weapons of mass destruction, and it kind of like laid out like this whole mission, right? So when I went in there, like I just had like this like military mentality where like, hey, like I'm here to protect my country. I swore, to uphold the Constitution. So it was very like, hey, I'm doing something good for the country. Like I said, I was in the military. They kind of like, they kind of break you down and build you as a soldier. Hey, you're here to protect this country, and you learn the values and all that. Going into border patrol was like a super easy transition where like it was like very military based. This is what you're doing. Very like, you have like a whole program and rules, uniform, grooming standards. It was very easy transition.
Hmm.
And then, man, dude, the job was just awesome. You're just out in the field. You're given some keys. Here's a car, and go out to your area. And it was just to be honest with you, as a 20-year-old, being a federal agent, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
was
pretty good
I,
as
I
a 20
was
year
I
old.
was
Yeah.
stoked. I don't have no idea how they hired me.
Were you one of the youngest ones?
Definitely the youngest one. Yeah, I was definitely the youngest one for many years in at my station. In the academy, there was a 19-year-old there, and then it was me.
Mhm.
Um, but once I was at the station, I was the youngest one for a while. Yeah, I had
And
a I had a gun. I had a gun at 20 years old. I couldn't drink, but I had a gun.
that's America for
That's
you.
yeah, man. I
That's
was like,
America.
now that I look back, man, like again, man, blessings,
Yeah.
blessings, blessings, man. That was just my parents and I were probably praying really hard or something.
Yeah.
So I had a good man. So I joined the border patrol. I don't think I had mentioned that, but I joined the border patrol, and then and I was able to provide for my wife and kid, off the bat.
Hmm.
So it was just that 1 year of kind of like, but I was living with my parents a lot, so it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
I don't, I don't remember like suffering or anything,
Yeah.
Like we had a roof over our head, we had food, we had help from my parents-in-law, my brother-in-law that was
The
lived there
church.
still, the church, like it was good, man. It was easy.
So then when you say you were stationed, I mean, I don't know how deep, you don't have to get too deep into it,
Yeah.
but you were stationed near your house, near your hometown.
Yeah, they so I had put in for the southwest border, right? And that's just there's different sectors. There's San
That's just
Diego,
San Diego,
El
Mexico.
Centro, Yuma, and then it goes all the way to Texas. That's like the southwest border. Then you have the northern border, you have the eastern side of the house. I had put in for the southwest border, and the first offer I got was El Paso, Texas. I was in the middle of the freeway. You know, my phone was like this, like Nextel or Boost Mobile that had at the time bad service. So it was, if you had a call, you had to pull over.
You got to chirp.
Yeah, if not, you lose the call,
Yeah.
right? So I remember I pulled over. I was like, "Hey, what's going on? Hey, we have an offer for you, El Paso, Texas." And I'm like, I thought I put in for Southwest Border." Well, that is the Southwest Border. And I'm like, "Oh, but I live in San Diego." "Sir, do you want it? Yes or no?" "Well, I gotta talk to my wife." "We'll give you a call in 2 weeks." Boom, they click on me.
You're 20 years old.
I'm 20 years.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm 20 years old, and I called. I talked to my. I was like, "Hey, they called me and they hung up on me. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, this is my way out, right?"
You thought you lost your chance.
Yeah, because they didn't like they just told me yes or no. No, we're calling 2 weeks. Click. So I told my wife, we talked and we said, "Hey, like whatever comes our way, I'm gonna take it." And then we were praying to God, like, "Hey, hopefully I get like El Central, where it's like 2 hours away, we're because they had offered me at Texas." So I was like, "Shit, I wanted to stay close to home,
Hmm.
close to my family." So I get a call like 2 weeks from there or a week from there, and they're like, "Hey, Campo, California." I'm like, "Campo? I never heard of
Yeah,
Campo."
it's like, yeah,
And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Is that San Diego?" It's like, "Yeah, it's by. Hold on." And I think that person was looking at the map.
Tecate.
It's like, "Hey, it's by Tecate." And I'm like, again, like Tecate was like kind of rung a bell, from like going out to the outskirts of TJ. But I was like, "Are you sure it's San Diego?" It's like, "Yeah, it's San Diego County. I'll take it." So I took it, and this is from San Diego. It's like a good solid, hour 15 minutes away.
Hmm.
So I took it, and I was there for like, was it like 3 to 4 years before I ended up transferring like west and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm still in. So
Yeah.
there's only so much I could talk about it,
Right.
but I'm still in. But at the time, it was like cool. First time I seen snow
In Campo?
in my life, yeah, was
Really?
was when I joined the border patrol. Yeah,
Damn.
my parents didn't take us anywhere.
It's funny that first time I ever heard of Campo is of they have a juvenile detention center out there, don't they?
They do,
They
yeah,
do.
yeah. What was it called?
Is it Barrett,
Barrett?
or it's in the Barrett area?
No, no, it might be called Barrett.
I think so.
Yeah, that was all my area. That's next. It's on Forest Gate Road,
That
that
whole
juvenile camp. And we used to chase them because they used to
they used
jump
to,
out, and they would call us, "Hey, we got a guy who escaped."
and there was no cops, so it's you guys are the.
It's sheriff. The sheriff station is right up ahead that juvenile camp.
Hmm.
And then it's just us.
Yeah.
With these kids, they didn't realize that you can't go anywhere,
Right.
and it's freaking cold and
You're in a
hot.
desert. Yeah.
You literally like it'd be like 40 degrees at night, and then by 10 a.m. it's like 110.
Hmm.
It's like very drastic even in the summer. So yeah, no. So we would have to go chase them and rescue them.
The first time I ever heard of that was because I was back in the day I was involved with some knuckleheads too, and I was a
Yeah,
knucklehead myself. So I had friends that were sent to Campo,
yeah,
sent to Barrett, and I was like, "Where
yeah,
is that?" "Oh, it's in Campo." "Man, Tecate right
yeah,
there."
yeah,
Yeah, and then I
yeah,
started driving to Tecate, and I realized like, "Oh, dude, it's like I'm passing it.
yeah.
It's like right there."
Yeah, they have. Yeah, it's a small camp that it used to be the barracks, like back in the army.
Hmm.
So all that area it used to be an army base, and some of the barracks, I think sheriffs might have taken one. Then we took another area, and that juvenile camp took another some of the barracks there.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's like that's where they send like the more violent juveniles, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah, yeah,
the offenders of
yeah,
extra
yeah, yeah.
offenders. Yeah,
It's definitely the outskirts. They have like, yeah, you can't really go anywhere from
yeah,
there.
because they take the other ones down to Kearney
To
Mesa or
Kearney
whatever.
Mesa,
Yeah, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
if you mess up there, then they take you out
yeah.
to the desert.
But I actually had to stop there one time.
Where Kearney
Yeah,
Mesa,
yeah, yeah. I
like
have
as a
a
juvenile.
Oh yeah,
Me
I
too.
have a little story, a little. It's very little segment of my life, but I ended up in juvenile. I ended up in juvenile hall. I just ended up going to court because I got, which is tricky. I never got arrested, but I turned myself in. But
That's
yeah,
another story.
that's another story. Yeah.
You and I both. I ended up in Kearney Mesa as well.
Full disclosure, I told my background investigator, hey, so I was involved in this when I was a kid, but they told me that after 18. He said, well, what did you do? It was, to summarize, it was a hit and run. I turned myself in.
Hmm.
Nothing bad happened, but I was involved. And he's like, yeah, we'll just leave that out. He
Okay.
said that, man. So I mean, in reality, like full disclosure, I didn't have to disclose it because I
Yeah.
was under 18 and I never hit it.
Uh huh.
But again, man, dude. I must have had an angel over me, man. Because he could
Yeah.
have just said, nah, this guy's not good enough.
Right.
And I told him, hey, I just want to tell you something because none of the questions are asking that. Everything was after the age of 18. Have you ever been convicted for a felony? Well, no. So all my questions were no, 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 no,
And you
no.
just wanted to cover your ground.
Well, I just wanted to say, like, full disclosure, like,
Yeah.
hey, man, this is probably going to come up. I just don't want you to think I'm lying or excluding anything. And he was like, we'll leave it out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Doesn't come up.
No.
So fast forward, we or you happen to go through on your career and in that field. Um, we'll fast forward to when your second child was born,
Hmm.
and that is what year
Angela.
in Angel?
Angela Sofia Beltran.
Hmm.
That's in 2000. This is where you're gonna get me in trouble, man. I want to say that's in 2012. Yeah, I'm right. 2012. So July 22nd, 2012.
Birthday's coming up.
Yeah. Uh
Hmm.
huh. And I'll just throw this in there just because it's I guess it's important. Like her birthday is very special because July 23rd. Not that it's special, but it's significant because July 23rd is when Robert Rosas was murdered in Campo. He was an agent that got ambushed by this like bandits and got they were trying to steal his MVGs allegedly, and they ambushed him, they murdered him, and
That same year.
that the in 2009.
Okay.
I went to the academy in August. He got murdered in July, academy in August. So when I joined, that's what I'm telling you, like the whole mentality,
Hmm.
like it was scary, man. Like, oh shit, war, military, oh shit, a guy just got murdered and Andy's going to Campo. Like that's crazy. But it just kind of sucks that she was born on the 22nd, 23rd
Hmm.
because I kind of always make that connection,
Hmm.
because we used to do relays for him in his memory. I used to always run from Campo all the way to El Centro to his gravesite. Um,
It's
and
a long run, though.
Yeah, yeah, it was a relay run, so you could run anywhere from 3 miles to whatever you
Oh,
wanted, and we had a coin,
yeah.
and we would pass that coin, kind of like a baton,
Hmm.
but we would pass that coin. So I would do my leg, and I would give it to you, and you would keep running, and we would run all the way to his gravesite, and that was around the morning, and we would all finish there. Anyways, it was beautiful, and it was just it was a good memory,
Hmm.
but I was on the relay one day, and my wife, she started having trouble. It kind of goes back into her birth, and I had to take her to the hospital. And then I was gonna run the relay, and I couldn't run the relay, so I had to call my buddy. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm so sorry, man. My wife just got admitted to the hospital, and I think they're gonna induce her baby, so I'm not gonna be able to make it to a relay." So yeah, no worries, man. Like, thanks for letting me know. So I couldn't make it to a relay. But my wife is pregnant. She going back to the story. She tells me like, hey, like Andrea is getting kind of old. She's 4 years old. Are we gonna have more kids, or are we not gonna have more kids? And Andrea, she was this beautiful, perfect kid, man. She still is. Don't let her know it. But I was like, man, I'd be happy if I could just have her. Like, I wouldn't mind not having more kids. Like she was a very, good kid. But we still said, well, let's have more kids,
We'll see.
bigger family, better things. So my wife's like, okay, well, I don't want to wait too long. That way Andrea is able to play with whoever comes, next. So we decided to have another kid. And that's when, we planned to have Angela. And then then when 8 months later, she was my wife was having complications, started getting very itchy, her skin. And I took her to the hospital and they said, hey, like something's going on with your liver or something. It's poisoning your blood. That's why you're feeling all that itchiness. It's already full term, 36 weeks. Just so you know, it's like 40 weeks. It's like full, birth. She was 36, but she was right over that hump for a preemie. And the doctors induced her, and then she had Angela. Like I took my wife there to hospital to get checked up, and I never left the hospital.
Hmm.
I didn't even have car seats. I didn't have shit. I had to go and buy it and everything. So that's we planned her, and then she was born.
Hmm.
And then during that time, um, she was breastfeeding with my daughter, so she had to be put in this special birth control like pills.
Hmm.
But since she was breastfeeding, they had to be like some particular ones that way,
Right.
whatever hormones, whatever. So after a while, my wife, I think she wanted to go back to work or something, and then she told the doctor like, "Hey, like, I think I'm gonna stop breastfeeding, and I like that IUD, which is like a little thing they put up there,
Hmm.
and instead of taking pills." So she's like, "Okay, cool. We just have to like stop taking your pills. We gotta make sure that you get like a full like cycle, and then after you're done with the cycle, um, like your period, then you come back, and then we'll put that IUD." So okay, cool. And then for whatever reason, she was like, "Yeah, I'm not getting my period, but I should be good to go." Okay, yeah, come in. We'll just do some blood work, and then we'll schedule the IUD. So she goes for the blood work, and she comes back home, and then they call her, and she thought they were gonna call her back. She's like, "Oh yeah, let's schedule the IUD appointment." And they call her, and they're like, "Hey, congrats, you're pregnant." And my wife's like, "What?"
You just
Like,
had one.
yeah, and my daughter's like 6 months old. So my wife's like, "What do you mean I'm pregnant? Like, I went in there to get an IUD. Oh, congrats, congrats, you're pregnant." She starts crying, and just because she was like, I just had a baby, and I tell her like, "Hey, it's not like we're 19 years old. Like when we had our Drea, like we're good now. I have a job. Like another baby, another blessing." And then we found out it was gonna be a boy. So I was like, "Oh, great!
Yeah.
Like two girls, one boy. I'm good to go." So that's when we found out we were gonna have my son, which is Alexander Beltran. I only gave him one name because, and I'll tell you this, it's gonna circle right back to this podcast. So my daughter's name was gonna be Sophia, right? But
Your first daughter,
yeah, and
Andrea.
but I really wanted to like honor my grandma, Angelita, Angela. Um, and I wanted the name, but my wife was like, "No, I think we're gonna go with Sophia." I was like, whatever, just whatever you want."
You carried the baby. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, whatever, right? And I already had Andrea, right? So I had Andrea, and that was my pick because I'm Andrew.
Hmm.
She's Andrea. So okay, I guess you get the next pick. And the day of the baby shower, you put the name on the wall, So they put the name on the wall and said Angela Sophia, and that was a surprise to me.
Oh,
The day of the
nice.
baby shower was like, look, surprise. And I was like, oh shit, Angela,
Yeah.
in memory of my grandma. So I thought that was pretty sick, Um, but as time when she was born, like her side of the family called her Sophia. My side of the family called her Angela, and I was always against that, man. And then like luckily, because I wanted to honor my grandma,
You're right.
but then the family liked Sophia, and then whatever. It's just me.
Yeah.
But luckily at school they always call you by your first name.
They do.
So she's Angela. So I'm like, okay, I still got my boy.
You still got yours.
So when I had my son, I was like, hey, I'm playing this whole freaking this side of the family calls you this way, this side of the family calls you this name. So we're just gonna go with one name,
Uh,
Alexander, and that's it. No middle name, no nothing. Alexander, and that's it. And yeah, we named him Alexander, and then we had him in 2014.
hmm.
So 2014 we had him. So So it's just like I said, she was 6 months pregnant. She was 6 months old, Angela, and then she got pregnant. So Alexander and Angela are like a year and a half, más o menos,
And is
apart.
there a significance that you named all your children with the A?
Yes, yes. I think we made it a thing. Yeah,
Just because you're A?
yeah.
Okay.
I think I just came from
Yeah.
me.
That's I have cousins that are triplets and they're all A, but because both of their parents are A.
Okay,
My uncle's name is Alfredo Aguilar and his wife's name is Araceli. And
okay.
then my cousins, they're triplets. They were named Angelica,
Yeah.
Alexander, and Anthony.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely made it a point, or at least I did. Like
Mhm.
after Angela, I was like, okay, A, and then we just kept going with
Yeah, like
A's.
why are we gonna name
Yeah.
him? You know?
Even with animals, we started having like dogs. So like, all right, A, and then we eventually ran out of A names,
Yeah.
But
So you have three. You have three children, and at the time of this recording, what's their age? I mean, so they
so
know when they were.
Andrea's 16. Angela is about to turn 12. And her birthday's coming up. And then Alexander is about to turn 11. He's from September 2nd, 2014. So he's about to turn 11. Angela 12, which is she's already starting to have the pre teenage I won't say attitude because it's more like feelings.
Mhm.
And then Andrea's 16. Yeah,
With boys, it's attitude. With girls, it's feelings.
uh, definitely, yeah. But Angela, man, she's a special kid.
Yeah,
She's like that middle child syndrome. Everything you could check every box,
yeah,
but she's very sweet. She's like, they're all good kids,
hmm
but Angela, she's very sweet.
yeah. I seen that you've been posting up like pictures or videos of you golfing with your son. They're
Oh
taking him
yeah,
out to
yeah,
golf
yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I can tell you how that happened real quick. So my son, I'm very outdoorsy. I'm very, even my background, all that, right? And my son, he's nothing like me. He's nothing like me. He's uh, he's very smart.
hmm
I was, I never told you this, but I graduated with a 1.9,
hmm
just for the record. But anyways, going back to my son, like my son is super sharp, top of his class, smart kid. Comes home, does his homework, moves on. He's into VR. He's into like video games, all that stuff. And I've always respected him for that. Like I'm not gonna try to make you me.
right.
Like I respect you for who you are. Um, and I offered him sports. He didn't really want to. He plays soccer with his school. That's it. I offered him club. He didn't want to. Cool. I'm gonna respect it. I'm not gonna try
Yeah.
to make you whatever. Right. I never been a fan of that. So not too long ago, I told him like, hey man, like we gotta find something in common. Like I wanna do whatever you like to do, and I'll mold myself. Like, what do you want to do? Video games, like programming, like you tell me. And out of nowhere, he's like, we should try golfing. And I was like, all right. So I got him a coach. We went to a couple lessons. Got the basics, and took him to the golf course, and kind of that's where we're at now.
Where do you think that came from?
I don't know,
It's quite
man.
unique as a
He's
kid. Does he have friends that are golf? Maybe
I,
with their
I don't
parents.
I don't know. I don't know, and I haven't asked him. All I know is that my kid is like high class, bro. That kid is like he's preppy kid,
hmm
and we didn't make him like that. It's just natural. Some
Yeah.
people are just like that.
Because golf usually comes from either you pick it up at a adolescent
Yeah,
stage in your life, pre probably not even preteen, but you either pick it up when you're an adult,
yeah,
or you're pick it up when you're a kid, but because your father, your
yeah.
grandfather taught you, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But
See,
it's
I
pretty
don't
cool.
I don't know where he got it from, but I thank him because he got me into it, and now I'm hooked. So
That's
I
cool.
you know I don't have a lot of time, but when I do have the time, I actually go, and I think I told you earlier that I had a cigar, right?
hmm
We went with my friend. We went golfing, and we went to this like youth golf course. No smoking or nothing.
hmm
So we ended up coming back home, and we had a couple beers and the cigar and stuff like that.
Nice.
It was
You
like a couple
you
days
you
ago.
and your friend with his son and
No,
your
no,
oh,
no,
okay.
just me and my friends.
Oh
I'm telling you, he got me into it, and now I'm kind of getting hooked.
yeah. Now you're going out without your
Yeah,
son. You're like,
yeah. So
let's go with my buddies out
yeah,
there.
but anyway, that's Alexander. But he's a smart kid, man. I'm actually very I'm looking forward to the future, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Like I'm curious to see where life's gonna take him.
hmm
because I see a lot of me in him, but he's very, like I say, he's very academically, he's very smart.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I'm just kind of curious.
In the sense, do you also, since you see him like academically like better inclined than
Uh
what you
huh.
were as a child,
Yeah.
you're excited to see how far he takes it, because you know, like if you were academically
Yeah.
inclined as a child, you could have probably, maybe taken so many other steps that you probably missed out on.
Yeah.
And with all respect, obviously,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and so you're probably like, dang, like he has so many more opportunities, or so much more power than what you
Yeah.
probably realized at your age.
Right. Right. I think it's like, I think going back to my grandpa, right? I think education does open a lot of doors.
Hmm.
And then from there, what's gonna make the difference, like attitude and having that entrepreneur mindset, building
Hmm.
companies and all that. But you still need to know what the hell you're doing, especially
Hmm.
with what we do nowadays with like programs and websites and just technology, right? So I think him having that academic, um, what do you call it? Like advantage
Hmm.
over me, I think is gonna get him that knowledge he needs. And then I see a lot of me in him, like his attitude, man. Like I think he has a very strong attitude. So I think if me as a dad, I help him point it the right way, I think it'll take him to the next level in the future. 'Cause that's kind of where I come in, right? The entrepreneur side of me.
Hmm.
So I think if him having the academic side and him having me at least to kind of throw my 2 cents in there,
Hmm. Guide
and
him.
having that attitude of a leader, I think he'll take him. That's what I'm saying. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's very mature, man. Like that's the other thing. Like he like kids around his age. He has friends. Not like he's not like this like lonely kid or anything. But when there's like a lot of kids his age around, it's too much for him, man. Like he's like these kids are too rowdy.
Yeah, these kids are weird.
Yeah, just because he's a little more like mature and but more than mature, like I think he's just like a little smarter. Yeah, I'm giving him props, but I
Yeah.
think it's true, man. I think he's a smart kid.
We'll share the secret so everyone that's listening gets smart kids as well.
Well,
So
marry a smart wife. No,
shout out
yeah.
Eunice.
So Eunice, she's a school counselor,
Mm.
and right, she was a summer principal for Modern Day, which is a private Catholic school.
Oh, nice.
So if you kind of remember her journey, she was pregnant at 19, had her kid at 20, but that did not stop her. She went through school, finished her bachelor's, finished her master's, got her accreditations, whatever she needed to become a school counselor and all that. So in all this journey, like my wife never stopped, and obviously I was there to support.
Hmm.
But you know, doing homework at 9, 10, 11 a.m. with a kid next to you, it takes
Oh yeah.
a lot of want, and it also takes a lot of brains.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah,
Shout out to her.
I'll let her take that credit.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not stupid either, but I can't say much. When I graduate with a 1.9, so I'll give her I'll let her take that credit.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. Beautiful family, man. The beautiful, beautiful story. Um, I think we're gonna be nearing towards the end of the podcast here. So, Andy, share with us a little bit of what you got going on in this moment in life in the near future. Share with us, and then right after, share with us where we can get in contact with you. Find you on the social medias and so on.
Okay, so I'll try to make this as quick as possible
Take
because
your time.
I tend to ramble a lot. But um, I've always had like an entrepreneur heart, right? I think it's obviously from my grandpa.
Hmm.
You know, when I hit like 3 4 years in border patrol, the long drives and the weird shiz and doing the military, I wanted out. So I had my second baby. I took my 2 weeks for leave. Now I guess they give you like 12 weeks, but
Give you like three
yeah,
months.
but back then you took 2 weeks and that was it, right? That was the unwritten rule. I took 2 weeks. I'm at home. I'm going crazy, because my head, my head goes 100 miles per hour. and I'm reading a book, and I'll share it because I think it's very important. And man, I'm telling you, I could ramble a lot, but I'll tell you how I got to this book because I think it's important. Um, I I was trying to buy a car, and I saw this car on Craigslist or something, and it was a BMW, a used car, and I called the guy selling the car, and it's this old man, dude, and I'm like, hey, like I'm trying to buy your car. Do you finance? As soon as I said that, like he got like he took offense to that. Okay. Um, so like he was like, what do you mean you're trying to finance this car? It's a used car, right? Like I guess he wanted somebody to buy that car for cash.
Hmm.
But my stupid, 19, 20 year old was like, hey, hey, do you finance? He's like, no, man. How old are you? "Oh, I'm this old. How many cars do you own? Uh, none. I was like, are you serious? And he starts like giving it to me, man. This is a guy I call on Craigslist.
Yeah.
He's like, I want you to write this down. Okay. The richest man in Babylon. I need you to read this book and don't buy a car. Buy a car cash, okay? Okay, bye. He hangs up on me. Man, I'm telling you, I wish I would have saved his contact to call him back and tell him like,
Thank you.
thank you, because it got me on the right road and I kind of went away from, the principles in that book. However, I think if I would have stuck to that thing, it would have been a better spot. But anyway, so I read that book, and I don't know, I'm sure if nobody has read it, they should read that book. It's a very good starter book for anybody trying to go into the finance and entrepreneur side of the house. For anybody trying to make their finances better. So I read the book, and the basics of the book says save money, invest your money. So I kind of jump on that. I save some money. I'm like, okay, where am I going to invest this money now? So I started a party rental business. I bought some jumpers and some jukeboxes and some tables, some chairs, some canopies. And I ran that business for like 3 years. That's kind of what got my wife through school, while we were on one income. And so I always had that kind of niche of like I could always do something more, something more. After 3 years, I was kind of done with it. I was working like every day of the week for 3 years, no days off. I was working Monday through Friday at work, and on my days off, I was, delivering jumpers, tables, all that stuff for parties. And I try to get this family to help me, but I didn't have the skills to kind of like grow this business. I kind of wanted to do everything, and I didn't really understand how to delegate, and most importantly, I didn't understand that it's okay not to make a lot of money. I wanted to keep 60% of the profits, and I only offer 40% of the profits to that family. If I could take things back, I would have offered 80%, kept 20, and then find ways to grow the business. But that's stuff that you learn with time.
Hmm.
So, anyways, I let go of the business. I sold everything, and then I just worked. My wife started working. Things were a lot easier. But I've always had that niche, just like my grandpa. Always looking for something else, even though he probably could have been okay. He was always looking for something else,
Hmm.
you know. So just well, I was I was always looking out for something. I wanted to buy an investment property, and I ended up not buying an investment property. I ended up buying a ranch that where I live now. And it kind of tied me up for a couple of years because I spent a lot of money, and my monthly bills went up and all that. Moving forward, my brother starts living with me. He's an engineer. He was working in Long Beach, and he tells me like, "Hey man, I'm ready to come back home." I think after 10 years that he lived up there, he was ready to come back home. And he met his wife up there. They got married and they lived up there. And There was a big project down here in San Diego, and he was able to like kind of attach himself to that project, and he took that opportunity and told the boss, "Hey, I'm moving to San Diego. I'm going down there. What's up?" And they were like, "Oh, it's not ready to go, but he's. I need you to tell me right now because I gotta go. I gotta go, and my lease is up, and blah blah blah, and something along that though. That line." So he took that opportunity. He comes home. He ends up working like 2 years from home or something. Along those lines. I think COVID was around that time too, and everything. So he's working from home and only has to kind of go to those job that well there's nothing happened in San Diego. So, but he told his boss, "Bro, you told me I was okay to move. I moved. I'm done. I'm in San Diego. So let me know what I could do from home. I'll do it from home." And then once in a while, I had to like drive up north.
Mhm.
So while he was there, and the reason he moved with me because I told him like, "Hey, bro, like, you gonna rent?" I was like, "No, don't rent, man. Like, come live with me. I have a room. You come live here, save your money, buy a home. Like, forget about renting." And then he's like, "Well, I have a bunch of stuff. Put in my garage, man. Why you gonna go rent storage? Like, let me help you out." Like, I kind of felt that need to help him as
He's
a,
younger, right?
yes, he's 4 years younger, but again, blessed. I got blessed. I, even though he's only 4 years younger, I was kind of like 10 years older than him because I kind of joined a good job early on. So I felt like, hey, man, like I'm light years ahead of you. How can I help you out? Because my dad, little MIA, my mom doesn't have the resources. Like, but I don't have the resources money wise. But you could come live with me, and I could help you out. That way, you could be a couple steps ahead. Because, like, let's be realistic. Like, how long is it gonna take you to save $100,000 to for a down payment?
While renting.
10 years while renting. Exactly. Come live with me and then, let's go. And I remember him telling me like, hey, like how much do you want me to pay you? Blah, blah, blah. I was just like, don't worry about that. Whatever you feel makes you feel comfortable, it is what it is. Fast forward while he's there, I'm like, hey man, like, I think he had mentioned about his boss getting a license or something. I was like, hey man, like while you're here, you should get a contractor's license. Like, take advantage of the time you have, the money you have right now is not gonna be there once you get a home. You have to remodel here. All these expenses are gonna come left and right. Blah blah blah. So I kind of like help him get his license, right. I'm there trying to mentor him, pushing him, blah blah blah. He kind of jumps into that world, right. I started helping him out, and things didn't work out. So I decided to step away, right. I don't want to go into details on the specifics, but I just said, what's more important, money or being okay with my brother? And I said, you know what, being okay with my brother. I just told him, like, hey, you know, I haven't talked to him about it, but it's fine. But I just told him, like, hey, I can't help you. I'm too busy. With my kids, this and that. I'm just gonna step away for now. All right, cool, no worries. A couple other details in the conversation, but I just stepped away. And at that time, Alfred Reserva, right? He was posting on Instagram that he was looking for investors for a flip.
Hmm.
And Alfred went to high school with my wife, so they known each other for 15 years. They went to high school together. So I saw that clip, and I was like, you know what? Like, I got some money laying around, or a means to invest some money, and I hit him up. It was like, hey Alfred, what's up? Um, and I mentioned the stuff with my brother because like I was ready to take the next step.
Hmm.
I had taken a break already, like 2 3 years. And I was ready to go on my next endeavor. So, and the reason Alfred got connected because I started posting a lot of stuff with my brother, and then Alfred reached out to my wife, like, "Hey, like, what's going on? You got a construction business going on? Well, it's kind of like this. Oh, you guys should do this and that. All right, cool, whatever." So that's how I got connected to Alfred. And then, so I contact Alfred, and I was like, "Yeah, I want to invest some money." So, all right, cool. These are the terms. Blah blah blah. Here's the house. Come meet me at a flip, and then we'll go from there. So I jumped in with him. We flip a house. While we're at that flip, I told him like, "Hey man, like if you need anything, let me know. I have a bunch of connects. I have a bunch of people. If you want to move faster, if you need the house painted or whatever, like let me know. I'll hook you up." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool." And he did. He ended up like, "Hey man, you have a guy who could do this?" I'm like, "Sure, man." Boom, boom, boom. Like within like minutes, I had it set up. They'll start tomorrow. And he was like, "Whoa, dude, that's impressive. Like, thanks." But so how much you gonna charge me? It's like, "No, nothing, bro. I'm just here to help you." So after we sold that house, he gave me my investment, my return on my investment, and then towards the end, he's like, "Hey man, like you helped me out a lot, man. Like I want to take care of you." And I was like, "All right, what do you mean? What do you mean?" And then we met, and he's like, "Hey, I want to pay for your contractor's license school, so you can become a contractor." And I was like,
You never thought of it.
no, man." During our conversations, I was kind of like, "Dude, like, I had initiated this consulting business. That's how my brother was gonna pay me."
Hmm.
But I was like, when I was helping Alfred, I was like, how in my head, I was like, how can I get paid and at the same time take advantage of it, right? Get some write offs or whatever, right? Like, what type of business can I start to get paid? Just, that's aside from just the investment. And every as much the more I looked into it, the more I was like I need to have a if I was a contractor, if Alfred needs help, Alfred can subcontract me stuff,
Hmm.
and that's how he can write that expense off. Because at the end of the day, he needs to write off something to get hooked up, and at the same time, I can make some money, and then I could have a write off, so I could kind of balance my books and not just and make some money and not just give it to the IRS or whatnot. So it was his idea. He was like, "Hey, I'll pay for your contractor school," and I was just like, "Okay." So obviously he went. We went to the school, and he paid for it. Man, it was like over $1,000. I got a veterans discount, but it was about $1,000, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna become a contractor now. So now I was committed, man, because Alfred paid for it. Now I'm committed to make sure I pass the school
But
or
I think
make sure I get my license, right?
but I think he saw the vision in you of how fast you can put things together and the communication and the contacts connects that you had as well. Like he wouldn't just offer that to anyone, you know. He saw that.
Oh man, I
Yeah.
mean, whatever made him think that was the right gift to
Yeah.
give me, it was again, man. It's just we plan our life, and then God kind of like throws angels there to kind of